CD, welcome to my channel, Miss Castillo. Today, I'm bringing you this collection of basic body patterns in CIB style with round heads. Look, this is how the figure turns out, and also in funk style. Square heads. Both have the same body pattern, only CDOC the head changes. Yo, get your favorite yarns ready because today we're going to crochet with lots of love. And if you're enjoying this content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications. Figures, fixent. We're going to make them in this tutorial. Look. Feed. Both a chibi figure and a funk figure use the same pattern, only the head changes. The cereals we're going to use are skin-colored yarn. We're going to use a 1.75 millimeters crochet hook for the whole project. The yarn I'm using is about 2 millimeters thick, but sound. You can use whatever brand you choose because the same brand isn't available in every country. CO here, I'm using the underscore from Ninsport. We also need set hot glue, a tapestry needle, stitch markers, yarn overs, and stuffing. That's what we need to make these two little figures, right? Okay, let's get started. We'll make the body first, and we'll start with the arms, right? Because we need to have them crocheted before. 60s the body, since they'll be attached later. The arms are actually the same pattern as the classic 7 to 18 centimeters body we made. I think, anyway, here's a picture. If you've already made that body and have the arm pattern written down, it's the same, but I'll repeat it for you. We're going to make 7 single crochet stitches in a magic ring. I already did 2, 3, 4, 5. Seven. 16, we close it. And after that, we're going to make 7 stitches in this magic ring. Stat is, we're going to crochet 1 stitch over the other, right? So, let's go. 1, 4, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 7. As I always tell you, look, this is the right side, the one that's tucked in here. Fixent. I usually do it this way. DOI. Usually turn it right side out with the tip of these tweezers. I turn it right side out. Look, I tighten the magic ring a little more so it closes well. And let me check the notes. How are we doing with the little arms? Okay, now we're going to make 4 single crochet stitches. CH. When I'm working on small pieces, I don't use a stitch marker because it gets in the way. Heed. But if you want to use one, you can, so you don't make a mistake. So, let's go second round, and we're going to make 4 single crochet stitches. 1, we're going to make 1 stitch in each stitch, only up to 4. 2, here, if you don't use a stitch marker, you have to be very careful. Stitch, not to skip any stitches. 3 and 4, and we're going to make a bubble stitch here. That's what I stitch call a bubble stitch. We're going to do it here in just 1 stitch to simulate the little finger, thumb. So we're going to insert it here. Look, like this, right? And we pull it out as if Sunny, we were. Sorry I messed up here. As if we were going to make a single crochet like this. Stitch. Right then, we yarn over and insert it into the same stitch and pull it out. Look, we have 1, 2, 3, stitch 10 and 4. Again, we yarn over and insert it into the same stitch again. Look, and now we have 1, 2, 3, 1 SC and 1 DC. We yarn over and pull through all the stitches, right? And then we usually work the stitches. We need to work in this round because we have 7 stitches. If we make 4 single crochets at the beginning, then 1 stitch, making the bubble stitch, and 2 more stitches. 7, that would be 7. Look, here we have the second round done, right? Well, if you these want to underscore and put this little loop of the magic ring inside this one on the hand. So you can do it so it doesn't get in the way. The arm isn't stuffed, but if you can tuck this little tail in, so it doesn't get in the way, no problem. Okay, now let's move on to the next round. And we're going to make 7 single crochet stitches. We're going to crochet these 7 stitches. Here we go. 1, 7. We have 7 little stitches, right? Here where we made the bubble stitch. See, I don't know if you see it here, kind of puffy. If you want it to stick out a little more and make the little finger look more pronounced, with the tip of any tool very carefully, you stitch owing to push the stitch out a little bit, right? Like you're trying to push it out. And look, seeds popped out a little more so you can see the little thumb better. Okay, here we have the round. Sections we just did. We made 7 stitches. Now we're going to the next round and we're going to do, let me see. We're going to do a decrease. Yes, I know there's sometimes small pieces. But if we do it patiently, yes, it can be done. I'm going to do a decrease here. Look, and then I'm going to crochet these 5 single crochet stitches that I need to finish the round. 1, single crochet stitches, right? Now, the next thing we're going to do, we'll finish this round, go to the next round, and we're going to make an increase of single crochet stitches. We're going to crochet an increase, right? Then we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches. Without skipping any stitches. Remember, 1 and 2 stitches. Accent. We're going to repeat another increase of single crochet stitches. And finally, crochet to single crochet stitches. 1 and 2 single crochet stitches. Look, and here. We finish this round and we would have 8 stitches. We'll have 8 single crochet stitches. Look. And now, the next thing we're going to do to finish the arm is just make 8 staged rounds of these 8 single crochet stitches. And that's it. Look, here I've finished making my stitch at 8 stitches, and this is how the little arm looks. There will be 2 of these, stuffed just like it. Now we're going to make the little feet, right? We're going to start making the feet. Next, the legs. The body is made in one go. We're going to make 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The first chain isn't worked. We work from the second chain and make a single crochet. And we're going to put stitch separator. In that stitch we just made, in that same chain, we're going to make another stitch. That means that in this chain, we made an increase, right? In the next chain, single crochet. And in the last chain, we're going to make 4 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? Now we're going to work on the opposite side of the chains, and we're going to start single crochet, and we'll use this loop to weave in the yarn, which also helps us close the piece. Sit-ins. In the last stitch, we're going to make an increase of single crochet stitches. Look, like this. Needle and this little loop we're weaving in, we're going to pull it through. And look, the fabric closes up, which sometimes opens up because of the increases, right? Let's continue. We're going to do these first rounds that I'm going to show you. We're going to do closed rounds, right? What does that mean? Stitch. We're going to pick up the stitch marker where the stitch is, and in that stitch, we're going to make a slip stitch. We're going to chain 1, And in that same stitch, we're going to make a single crochet. And this here, where we made that last single crochet, is the beginning of the round. 6th. Remember that what we did here was a slip stitch and a chain that looks like 2 little stitches. These stitches aren't worked, okay? Okay, so we're going to do the next CH pattern here. We're going to make 2 increases. I made 1 stitch, since I have to make an increase here. Stitch, same point where I made the first stitch. I'm going to make another stitch to create an increase. At the second stitch, I'm going to make another increase of single crochet stitches. I'm working single crochet stitches. At the next stitch, I'm going to make a single crochet stitch. At the next stitch, I'm going to make an increase, and I'm going to work 4 increases in a row. I've already done 1, 2, 3. Stitch and for stitches. For increases, at the next stitch, I'm going to make a single stitch, and at the next stitch, I'm going to make an increase. And at the next stitch, I'm going to make another increase of single crochet stitches. Another increase of single crochet stitches look like this. Look, fit. As I told you, it looks like there are 2 stitches here, but it's the slip stitch and the chain. See how we made to close the round? That's not worked. Okay, well, up to that point, we would have 18 stitches. Fucking, right? Now we continue with the next round where the marker was. I'm going to close my 6th round and make a slip stitch, a chain stitch, and in the same stitch where I made the slip stitch, I'm going to make my first single crochet of this round, okay? So, I made a single crochet. I'm going to make 1, and in the next stitch, I'm going to make an increase, like seen. Now we're going to make 5 single crochets. 5 single crochets. 1, and 5. I'm going to make an increase of single crochets. Then I'm going to crochet 2 stitches. Stitches 8, and then I'm going to make an increase of single crochet stitches. Now I'm going to crochet 5 single crochet stitches again, 1 and 5. And finally, I'm going to make an increase. Single crochet stitch and finish the round, right? And now what I'm going to do here is close the forward again, slip. I'm going to make a slip stitch, a chain stitch, and where I made the slip stitch, which is here, single. Look, I'm going to make a single crochet stitch, but only working in the back loop, that is, in a loop. Okay, why? VHL, because I'm going to work this row in a loop. I put the separator here. I should have 22 single crochet stitches, okay? So what am I going to do this round? I'm going to crochet stitch over stitch. Sternly, only working in the back loop, and I'm going to crochet these 22 single crochet stitches all around this round. There. See, look, I finished my loop round. Sorry, I have these little loops left. Fuck right! Now let's go to the next round. And for the next round, we're going to start crocheting in a spiral, only up to the previous round. Look, we closed the round. 6, alright. But here we go to the stitch where the marker is, and we go directly here and stitch axe, okay? And we put in the stitch marker. Here we're not going to crochet in a closed round anymore, but in a spiral. And we're going to crochet, picking up the 6th entire stitch. And we're going to crochet stitch over stitch, and we're going to crochet these 22 single crochet stitches again. Remember, picking up the entire stitch, and that's it. Look, I've finished that round. Look, see, it's already taking the shape of the sole. If you want to put something inside here, like a piece of cardboard or some plastic to make it stiffer, flatter, you can do it here. Tuckered. I'm not going to because, look, it looks fine without the cardboard. So, 6H. Okay, Let's go. Theory. Remember, this is a basic body pattern where I'm giving you the exact shape of a shoe so you can adapt it and change it. You can. For example, look here, right? As I was explaining, change the color. Make the shoes a different color than the pants, and so on. So, this is a basic shape. Okay, now, let's work the next round and make 6 single crochet stitches. I'll start. First one, I'm adding a stitch marker. I've already done 1. We're going to make 6 stitches. 2. 6 stitches. Now I'm going to make 5 consecutive decreases. Stitch invisible decreases. Look, 1. I pick up the first stitch, pick up the second stitch, yarn over. Dip hole through those 2 stitches. I have 2 left. Yarn over and work. I'll do 2 decreases. Four decreases. 5 decreases. And finally, 6. I'm going to work these 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 6. Second, let's go to the next round and we're going to work 5 single crochet stitches. 1, and 5. Now I'm going to work 3 decreases in a row. Sixth one. Sixth and 1. 1 6 hold. Third and 3 decreases. 3 decreases in a row, right? Now we're going to work for single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4 stitches. At the end, I'll have 2 stitches left, and I'm going to make a decrease there. Third there. Look. And so far, we have 13 stitches, right? CGE. Now we're going to work the other rounds. And 6 cent, we'll start from here. Now we're going to stuff it a little, right? Before working, CZ's the next rounds. We're going to stuff it. Don't stuff it too much so the stitches don't open up. So, here I'm going to underscore like this. A little bit of stuffing. And I always use these little tweezers to help me stuff it. I think that way the stitches aren't damaged. At first, I used to do it like that, with my fingers, just pushing it in, and I felt like it was forcing the fabric. It even looked like it needed more stuffing, and you just kept going, and the stitches kept opening up. I think that happens to all of us when we start in the world of knitting. But it's really all about practice. It's really all about practice. There are no magic secrets. And nobody seems to have learned to knit overnight. It really takes a lot of practice. A lot of consistency, a lot of discipline. I had never knitted before. Never. And it's been almost 6 years since I started knitting my gurumis. But before that, I had never knitted. I had never done anything knitted series, but practice is what helps. Look, this is how I stuff it. Look, no, stitches open up. Now, as I was saying, here we have 13 stitches. Second, we're going to do some height rows too. Raise the leg. We're going to do 10 height rows of these 13 stitches. And that's it. CEOF. Here I've finished doing my 10 height rows. I've also stuffed it. And here, I'm going to cut the first leg I'm going to make because I don't need to leave a yarn tail. The second leg I'm going to replicate. I'm going to make exactly the same. But I'm not going to cut the yarn on that one because, obviously, I'm going to start joining them from there. So I'm going to make 2 identical legs. Remember, don't to cut the yarn on the first one, and don't cut the yarn on the second one. Okay, here I've finished. Look at this second leg. And I'm not going to cut the yarn on this second leg. Okay, now, on this second leg, we don't. cut the yarn, and we're going to crochet 6 single crochet stitches. 1, and I'll add the stitch separator. Second one. 6 and 6, right? So here it's 6 for me because making 6 stitches, look, fits perfectly. If I flatten the leg like this, look, it's right here, right? So it should. Victor be in the middle look of the side leg, right? Right here in the middle, okay? Now I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2 chains, 2 chains. And I'm going first to join the other leg now. It fits right here. Look where I finished the round. Stuff, it's right here in the middle. So let them stay straight, right? So stitch I'm going to insert into the last stitch I made, right? And here I'm going to make the first stitch of the other leg. Remember that we have 13 stitches in the legs. I'll pull this one up now too. Stitch. And I'll knit these 13 stitches of this second leg. Let's go to 6 and 13 stitches. Now I'm looking at the chains I made. Look. From here, you can see the wrong side of the chain, and if we turn it like this, you can see the right side. Look. 1 and 2 chains. So I'm going to insert my hook here into these chains. Let me work it in nicely. D like this, 16, and I'm going to make 1 stitch, and in the next chain, another stitch, and then I'll continue working the stitches. Date I need here. If we have 13 stitches on each leg, and I worked 6 at the beginning, then next, I should have 7 stitches to work here. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 stitches to work. 6 to 1. Seven, done. Look like this. Look, we've already done the first part of joining. See these? The legs. Look, here we have the little feet looking the same and straight, right? Okay. So now we continue with the next round, and we're going to work 6 single crochet stitches. Zig. Remember, at the beginning, we'll work 1, and then add the stitch marker. I'm already at 1. 6. I'm going to knit 6 stitches. 6, and look, I've reached the other side. Look, from the chains. 1 and 2 chains. CHA, here I'm going to make 2 stitches. I pick up 1 and 2 stitches here in these chains. Set on the opposite side from the chains, right? And then, look, I'll knit 13 stitches for this leg, plus 2 stitches from the chains here, and 7 stitches from here. Sitter, right? In total, I should knit 22 stitches from here to the marker. Done. Look. Finish. I've finished knitting the 22 stitches I needed to complete this round. Look, the legs are now completely joined. Look, the bottom part looks like this. And here it is. Step, right? So, we're going to continue knitting here, and we'll have 30 stitches. So, 6 and we're going to make 9 rounds of these 30 single crochet stitches. Done. Look, I've already finished. Then my 9 rounds of height. So, let's continue. And next, let's see where Celie left off. Now we need to do 4 single crochet stitches. Let's do one. We put in the spacer. 6 and 1 go 2. 3. TH and a decrease. Stitch, we're going to repeat 4 stitches again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease. Cinch like this. Now we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. Just 3. 1, 2, and 3 single crochet stitches like this. Look, right? Up to there. So right there, I'm going to basically finish this round, and I'm going to start a new round because I'm going to third join the arms. I'm going to remove this spacer. It's right here because I want to take out stick here. If I flatten it, look here, I have 1 stitch left, right? Plus 1 stitch from here makes 2 stitches. 4, 1, 2, and 3. I want 3 stitches on the side so I can join the arms. So, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to pick up the arms with my thumb. Look. CO, just like we always join them, right? Thumb up like this. Look. So, on this side, CD is where I'm going to pick up my 3 stitches to join to the body. Then I'm going to insert, look, the crochet hook here from the inside out. I pick up 1 stitch from the arm, then I pick up 1 stitch from the body, and I pull up 1 stitch, and this is going to be the new beginning of the round. And I'm going to stitch marker here, right? We're going to another stitch from the arm with another stitch from the body, and that would be 2 stitches. I'm going to another stitch from the arm and another from the body, and that would be 3 stitches. Now I'm going to move to the body, and I'm going to knit 5 stitches on the body. 1, 2, 3, knit 5 stitches from the body, and I'm going to make a slip stitch here and a decrease. Now I'm going to repeat 5 stitches again. 1 and 5. Now I'm going to join the second. Thumb in the same way with the thumb pointing up. And I'm going to pick up 3 stitches from here with 3 stitches from the body, right? So look, let me work this little bit like this. Straight. I'll flatten it here, and I'm going to go in here and make 1 stitch from the arm. Sticking, look. And I pick up 1 from the body, 1 stitch from the arm, and 1 stitch from the body. And I pick up 2. Stitch 1 stitch from the arm and 1 stitch from the body. And I pick up 3. Look, now I'm going to knit stitches from the body, and I should have 10 stitches. I'm going to knit 10 stitches. 1 step and 10.10 stitches, right? Now I'm going to knit here on top of the stitches. I still need to knit from the arm. If I had, I'm way down. If I had 8 stitches and I knitted 3 stitches, set with the body, I should have 5 stitches left, right? So I'm going to do the following with those 5 stitches. We're going to make a single crochet. We remove the marker from here. At this point, stitch where the marker is. We're not going to crochet, but rather in the stitches that are on the arm, which would be here. Citrate, look here. I want to remove this stitch so we can see it clearly. I have 1, 2, 3 stems and 5 stitches. Look. So, as I told you, I'm going to make 1 stitch for the arm. Stitch like this, and I'm going to put the stitch marker there. That's going to be the beginning of the round. Next one. Then I'm going to make a decrease. Look, a decrease. And finally, I'm going to crochet the 2 stitches for the arm that I need to crochet. I'll do 1. And here I have the other stitch. Flash, look. And 2, theta. And I'm going to use this loop to work into the arm 2, and stitch, that's where the stitch is closed. 2, right? Let's go. So, I've already made 1 single crochet, 1 decrease, and 2 single crochets, right? Now I'm going to crochet 11 stitches for the body. 1, second, and 11. I'm going to cut this little bit of yarn I lost from the arm so these little threads don't get in the way. Okay, I made 11 stitches, right? Now I'm back to the body stitches. Fight, which are also 5 body stitches. Remember? 5 stitches. Same, right? And I'm going to do the same thing I did here. First, I'm going to make 1 stitch, right? So, look, I'm going to text underscore from here. Here are 1, 2, 3, CH and SC. Now I pick up 1 stitch from the arm, like this, look like this. 6, and then I'm going to make a decrease. So I pick up the yarn here from the stitch. That's it. I pick up this little yarn so the stitch doesn't stretch. I don't pull it tight. I'm going to make a decrease. Okay, now I'm going to knit the 2 stitches I need to knit. I made 1 stitch. Step, I made a decrease. And now I knit these 2 little stitches I need. Stitch! And that completes the 5 stitches, right? Done. Now, finally. Finger, I'm going to crochet these 10 single crochet stitches for the body, right? 1. 6 and look, and we've finished joining the arms completely. Look, it's even on one side, and the 6th other look. Now we're going to continue with the next round, as you call stuff in crochet, you'll be stuffing it. Okay, so you close it up, you stuff it little by little. Well, tough. I don't put any stuffing in the arms, but if you want to add a little stuffing, you can, or if you want to add wire or pipe cleaners, whatever. 6th, you can. Now's the time to add it if you want. Done. Now we're going to continue. DOE, we're going to do 7 single crochet stitches. I'm crocheting 7 stitches. 1, 6 and 7, and I'm going to make a decrease. Seed, and I'm going to repeat this pattern of 7 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease all around 2. The end of the round. At the end, I'll have 2 stitches left, and in these 2 stitches, I'm going to make a decrease there. Look, I've finished that round, and we have 25 stitches so far. 6th right. Now, let's go to the next round, and we're going to make 2 single crochet stitches. 1, stitch marker. Stitch. I made 2 and a decrease. Theories, we're going to make a decrease here. And state. I'm going to repeat this pattern of 2 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease all around to the end of the round. At the end, I'll have 1 stitch left, and I'm going to work that one normally. There, look, finished that round. It's closing up now. Look, and now we're going to do it's over. Don't forget to keep stuffing little by little. We're going to make 1 single crochet stitch and 1 decrease here. Zeros all around to the end of the round. And at the end, I'll have 1 stitch left over, and 6th, I'll knit that one normally. Okay, look, I've finished that round, and we have 13 stitches so far. Now we're going to do 4 single crochets, 1 decrease, and 7 stitches. 6th, and that's it. Look, I finished that round, and we have 12 stitches so far. Look, date, if I insert this crochet hook like this, look, it all hits the hook. That means I still have empty space here that I haven't put any stuffing in, right? So what I'm going to do in this empty space is put some stuffing in here without getting it all messy, because I'm going to continue knitting the higher rounds later. Step, I'm going to put hot glue in here very carefully and let it dry, so that it fills this little part here. And also a bit of the shoulders and the neck, where date will add hot glue later, so it's firm and sturdy and doesn't become too fragile. If you want to do this process, you can. If you just want to stuff it, then just with stuffing, that's fine too. Or if you prefer to put, I don't know, something here, a stick, whatever you want to make the neck firm, you can do that. I'm going to do it this way with silicone. Okay. Look, so, as I'm telling you, very carefully, silicone here on the inside only. You keep putting it on, and the silicone will gradually drip, because since there's an empty space to fill, look, it drips. straight down and fills it. That's what you're going to do. That process, not all the way to the inside. CD, because then you won't be able to knit here in this last part because it will stick. So, just let the silicone drip down, okay? Wait for it to dry well, and then, since we have 12 stitches here, we're going to do 6 rows of 12 stitches each. Okay, look, I've already finished doing 6 rows of height here. I put the silicone here. Look, and here I've left this part stiff, so it'll be firmer, right? Here I'm going to leave about 15 centimeters of thread. Second, this is all I need to insert the neck into the head. And this part here, using the same process I did before, I'm going to fill it all with silicone up to here to the edge. So, we're going to do it like this. Look, here's the glue gun. I put the tip in and start applying the silicone. Look, slowly. Look, so it doesn't spill. So here at the end, we do it like this. Silicone, there it is. Look, full of silicone. And we're going to wait for it to dry completely. And that's it. Look. Here, I've finished. Look, here it's dry, it's hard. And like I said, it goes up to here. Look how hard the silicone is. Up to here. So this is firm enough. 4 to put inside the head, right? Now we're going to make the head. Okay, as I told you, we're going to make both versions. Chibi style, which is round, and Funo style, 6, which is square. They both have the same body, only the head changes. Let's start with the Fukibi style. Okay, basically, this style is round. It's simply a little 3 round-headed doll, right? The head is round. We're going to make a magic ring of 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, double crochet and 6 single crochet stitches, right? We're going to close this magic ring. And the next round, sixth we're going to do is increases, right? So, since we have 6 stitches, we're going to make 6 increases. CO 2 single crochet stitches in the same stitch. Then, I'll make an increase. Okay, 2 increases. 3, 4, single crochet stitches. 6, 6 stitches, right? 6 increases. Here we already have 12 stitches, right? Let's do the next round. 1 single crochet stitch. And here we're going to place our stitch marker. We're going to crochet, spiraling in a spiral, right? So, I've already made 1 stitch. In the second stitch, I'm going to make an increase, and I'm going to repeat this pattern of 1 single crochet and 1 increase all the way around to the end of the round. Done. Look, I've finished this round, and so far we have 18 stitches. Now, let's do the next round. We're going to make 2 single crochet stitches. 1, we put the marker. Okay, 2, and in the third stitch, we're going to make an increase. And I'm going to repeat this pattern of 2 single crochet and 1 increase all the way around to the end of the round. Done. Look, stitch. I've finished this round, and so far we have 24 stitches. Now we're going to the next round, and I'm going to make 3 single crochet stitches. Here I've already done 1, so 2, 3, and in the 4th stitch, we're going to make an increase. So I'm going to repeat this pattern of 3 single crochet stitches and an increase all the way around to the end of the round. Here I've finished this round, and we have 30 stitches so far. Now we're going to do the next round. We're going to crochet for stitches. There. Here I've already done 1, 2, 3, 4, and in the 5th stitch, an increase. And we're going to repeat this single pattern of 4 single crochet stitches and an increase all the way around to the end of the round. Done. Finish. I've finished this round, and we have 36 single crochet stitches so far. Now we're going to make 5 single crochet stitches here. I've already done the first one, 1, 2, 3, 4, single crochet. And in the 6th stitch, we're going to make in an increase. And we're going to repeat this pattern of 5 single crochet stitches and an increase all the way around to the end of the round. Done. Here I've finished that round and we have 42 stitches so far. Now we're going to do the next round and we're going to make 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And in the 7th stitch, an increase in 6 single. This pattern of 6 single crochet stitches and an increase all the way around to the end of the round. There, look, I've finished. Stitch round, and we have 48 stitches so far. Right now we're going to do 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 7, and an increase, and I'm going to repeat this pattern of 7 single crochet stitches and an increase, all the way around to the end of the round. There, look, here, I've finished this round, and we have 54 stitches so far, right? Now we're going to do height rounds, and we're going to work stitches over these 54 stitches and work 10 height rounds. Fixin'. There, look, here, I've finished what would be the 10 height rounds of 54 stitches, right? Now we're going to start working the decreases. Let's start closing the head. And for second, that, we're going to make 7 single crochet stitches. Place the stitch marker. We're going to make 7 stitches. 1, 7, and 1 decrease. And I'm going to repeat this pattern of 7 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease, all the way around to the end of the round. Done. Here I've finished that round. Take a look. And so far we have 48 stitches. Now we're going to continue closing the THN. We're going to make 6 single crochet stitches. 1, 6. And we're going to make 1 decrease. And 6. I'm going to repeat this pattern of 6 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease, all the way around to the end of the round. Done. Look, I've finished. Stitch that round, and so far we have 42 stitches. Now we're going to make 5 single crochet stitches. 1, 5, and 1 decrease. And I'm going to repeat this pattern of 5 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease. Fuck all the way around to the end of the round. Done. Look. I've finished that round. And so far we have 36 stitches. Now we're going to make 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease. And I'm going to repeat this pattern of 4 single crochet stitches and 1. 3rd decrease all the way around to the end of the round. There, look, I've finished this round, and here we're going to pause. We're going to stuff, but only halfway. Stuff one halfway? Not completely. They're good. Look, it's only stuffed up to here. Sickered. It's pretty empty here, isn't it? So, the goal is to keep these rows here from getting too tight. Stuffing, right? To finish the decrease rounds and prevent the stitches from opening up. That's the key. So when you're doing the DD decreases, you don't see any gaps. Do it this way. Stuff almost at the end. Right? Now we're going to do the next round and we're going to do 3 single crochet stitches. 1, 7, 1, 4, 2. 2, 3 stitches and 1 decrease. And I'm going to Sinji. Repeat this pattern of 3 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease all the way around to the end of the round. Okay, I've finished this round. Sitting, and we have 24 stitches so far. Now we're going to do 2 single crochet stitches and 1 decrease, all the way around to the end of the round. Okay, look, I've finished this round and third, we have 18 stitches so far. Now we're going to do 1 single crochet stitch and 1 decrease all the way around to the end of the round, okay? Look, I've finished this round and we have 12 stitches so far. See you. If you look here, you won't see any open stitches. That's why you always Finish stuffing it at the end, and as I gently showed you, you're going to insert the stuffing with tweezers. But before that, we're going to cut the yarn here. We don't need to leave sunny yarn here. We're going to cut the yarn like this way. And we're going to pull it out like this way. In with the tweezers. As I said, we'll insert it little by little like this, and you'll stuff it. Stick, slowly, without opening the stitches. And like that all around. And that's it. Look, I've finished stuffing it. It looks like this. Look, here's this little opening to insert the little body. Stuff, right? I'll show you how to do it. Now, we're going to skip one stitch with this yarn here, and in stitch. We're going to pass it back here, right? We grab it like this and pass it back here. Fixerts, and then we're going to insert it here through the knitting. Done. Look, not anymore. So, here we have this. Still a hole to put the head in later. The head? I mean, the neck. This process of putting the little head stand on the body. Well, we're going to do it the same way with the head when we make the funky head, which is square. It's the same process because it's the same body. We put it in with the needle. Second look here, and we're going to come out here in the magic ring, in this little hole of the magic ring, like this. Set. This helps us pull like this, to pull and then put the little body in, like this. Look. State we pull and put the little body in, and there it is. Look how it looks. Third right. So here we tighten it well, so the little head doesn't come out, and we're simply, going to make a little knot here like this. Good, like this. CH are going to underscore a little bit of TRN here. We pass the needle through there, pull, and a little knot is formed there. We go in right here. CH and move to come out any other way. And that's it. Look, here's the little head. 6, secured. And we cut this strand if you want the head to stay on. Look. Sides, seed. I want to leave it with that effect. But if you want the head to be fixed, you put silicone when you're going to insert the piece. You put the silicone inside, the little hole of the head, hot or cold silicone, and you put the neck in, and that's it. And see, it will stay fixed. Done. Now we're going to make what would be the Funko head that is square one. Some people who made the collection wrote to me, well, not some, but very few actually. 2 or 3 wrote to me saying that they had trouble making the square head. So I'm going to explain it here in more detail so you can make it. Single, 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 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, and 4. A magic ring, 6, right? So I'm going to close this magic ring. Feared. I'm not going to tighten it as much right now. Fixened. I'm not going to close it as tightly. Now I'm going to make an increase of single crochet stitches. Stitches of this magic ring, right? But I'm going to close it with closed rounds. That is, second, I'm going to make a slip stitch, a chain, and in the same stitch, I'm going to make my first increase in same stitch. I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to crochet in a spiral, but in closed rounds, and I'm going. First, to put it in the first stitch of the increase I made, right? So remember, we made a slip stitch, a chain, and an increase in the same stitch, right? This chain, stitch, and slip stitch, stitches that look like dots aren't worked because they're for closing the round. So I've already made one increase. Excellent. I'm going to make another increase in the next stitch. In the following stitch, another increase. I'm almost there. 3. See increases so far. And finally, I'll make 4 increases, which would be here, right? 4 increases. Stand, here you can see, as I told you, the slip stitch, and that's not worked. Now we're going to slow close the round here in the same way with a slip stitch, right? A chain stitch, and right there. 6 end, I'm going to make a stitch, but I'm going to make a stitch of the new round, and we'll put in the stitch marker. In the next stitch, I'm going to make an increase of single crochet stitches. Look, and then I repeat a single crochet and an increase. Look, I'm going to repeat that 4 times. I've already repeated it twice. Now I'm doing 2 more. Single crochet and an increase. That's 3 times I've repeated that pattern. And the 4th time, a single crochet, 6. And here an increase, sing. And that's 4 times I repeated a single crochet and an increase. Look. Flip. This is the slip stitch and the chain you make when you close it, so you don't work it. I go to where flip the marker is. I make a slip stitch to close, I chain 1, and I'm going to make my first stitch right there in that same stitch. But here, let me see, I have to make an increase. So, in that same stitch where it says single crochet, I make another stitch to create an increase, stitch marker in. Like this way, CH. I'm going to make a total of, let's see, Sacred, I already made 2 increases. In the other one, I'm going to make another increase, right? Here, I just made 2. 3rd increases in a row. Now I'm going to repeat the pattern of 1 single crochet. 6th and 2 increases. 1 and 2 increases 3 times. I repeat 1 single crochet and 2 increases. 1 and 2 increases. Scenes. No, I repeat again. 1 single crochet and 2 increases. Each time I make the 2 increases, what I'm doing is forming the corners of the square. Look, right? And finally, I make a stitch. Look, so now I'm going to close the round. So, what did I do here? Seaming by made 2 increases at the beginning. Then I made a single crochet and 2 increases, and I repeated that 6 times. And at the end, I made a single crochet. Now let's go to the next round. Let's close the round. Round closed. Single, we're going to chain 1 and make a single crochet right there. So that little stitch, 6 end, will be our beginning of the round, and we're going to make a single crochet. And in the next stitch, we're going 3rd to make an increase. And in the next one, another increase. So what did I just do? I made single crochet and 2 increases. Now here I'm going to make 1, 2 single crochets, 3 single crochets. The end and 2 increases. 1 and 2 increases. I'm going to repeat 3 single crochets. 1. 2, 3 single crochets and 2 increases. 1 and 2 increases. Singles, we're going to repeat 3 single crochets again. 1, 2, 3 single crochets and 2 increases. 1 and 2. Say increases. And at the end, I should have 2 stitches left, and I'm going to work them normally. 1 and 2 stitches. Look, you can see the little square is starting to form. So here we're going to make slip, closed round, a slip stitch, a chain, and right there I'm going to make a single crochet. Stuff, which will be the beginning of the round. So I'm going to make 1. Here I would make 2 stitches. See, I made 1 stitch in 1 stitch, another stitch in another stitch, 2 stitches, and here in the corner, 2. Stay increases. 1 and 2 increases. Now I'm going to repeat the pattern of 5 single crochet stitches. I'm going to crochet 1, 5 stitches, and 2 increases in a row. 1 and 2. Seams, and I'm going to repeat this pattern of 5 single crochet stitches and 2 increases 2 more times. Once here and stick once here. In the end, I'll have 3 stitches left over, and I'm going to crochet them normally. So, let's crochet 2 more times. 5 single crochet stitches, 2 increases. 5 single crochet stitches, 2 increases. Fix it. And here I finish repeating 2 more times. And in the end, as I told you, I'll have 3 stitches left over, and I'm going to crochet them normally. 1, 2, and 3. Zip. And here you can see the slip stitch chain. And dates. Let's close this round again and make a slip stitch. A chain. And right there we'll pick up the first stitch. And here we would, let's see. Make 3 single crochet stitches. I already made 1. Let's go. 2 and 3 stitches. CH. And here in the corner I CEU. Have to make the 2 increases. Always the increases. The 2 increases together, B in the corners, right? Date. Now I'm going to make 7 single crochet stitches. 1, 7, and here in the corner, 2 increases. 1 and 2. 2 increases, right? Seen, and this pattern of 2. 7 single crochet stitches and 2 increases. I'm going to repeat it 2 more times. In the end, I DLL have 4 stitches left over, and I'm going to work those normally, right? So we repeat. 40, and finally, I'm going to work the 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. See, look, and if you can see, 4 here. It's already forming. Look, a square, isn't it? A square. Okay, now we're going to close. 0 round. We're going to close this round and we're going to make a slip stitch. A chain. Hear it. Flipped off. A little chain. And in that same stitch, I make my first stitch, right? I'm going to put the separator here. D. Although you can see where the round starts and ends, but I'm putting it there so you don't make a mistake. Okay, see, now we're going to make 4 single crochet stitches. I already did 1. Come on, 2, 3, and 4. Dedia, and in the corner, we're going to make 1 increase and 2 increases. Now we're going to repeat. The pattern here. We're going to make 9 single crochet stitches first. We're going to crochet 9 stitches. 1. 6, 2, 9. And here, where the corner starts, we're going to make 2 increases together. 6th one. And in the next stitch, another increase, right? The increases right after each other. So I'm going to repeat Sinum. This pattern of 9 single crochet stitches and 2 increases 2 more times. Once here and once here. At the end, I'll have 5 stitches left, and I'm going to crochet them normally. So we start by doing that. 6th, and here I've finished repeating it 2 more times. And as I said, stitch. At the end, I'll have 5 stitches left, and I'm going to crochet them normally. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And here we go to the new round. We close the round. Make a chain, and our first single crochet in that same stitch, like this. Stitch. Now we're going to make 5 single crochet stitches. I already did 1. Let's go. 2, 3. Chain, and 5. Heed, and here in the corner, I'm going to make 2 increases in a row. 1, and then 2 increases in a row. Single stick. Now I'm going to crochet 11 single crochet stitches. 1. 6 and 11. And in the corner, I'm going to make 2 increases in a row. 1 and 2 increases in a row, right? And seems I'm going to repeat this pattern of 11 single crochet stitches and 2 increases 2 more times. Once here and once there. In the 6th end, I'll have 6 stitches left over, and I'm going to work those normally. And if you're enjoying this CD content, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications so you'll be alerted. 3rd, when I upload a new video. That's how you can help us grow. Second, and that's it. Look, here I've finished this round and we have 60 stitches so far. Right, now we're going to work height rounds, and we're going to work 14 height rounds with 60 stitches. Remember that we're working in closed rounds. Every time we change to a fun new round, we close this round. Done. Look, here I've finished my 14 seasoning height rounds. Now we're going to start making the decreases, and we're going to bind off stitch, and we make our first stitch. Second, we're going to knit 8 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seven and 8. Why do I knit 8 stitches? Because, look, here's the corner. I want you to notice that the decreases we're going to start making have to line up where we were. Look, feared. Remember that here we made the increases, 2 increases in a row. Look, it's like a cross, CR, just like the increases were here when we were making the square. CH, the decreases have to start here too. You can't start them here because otherwise the corner would form here. It has to be a perfect square so that the corner forms here. So, stitch. How do we roughly calculate the number of stitches we need to knit to line up? Second, going to position ourselves here, right? Look, where the last increases ended, which would be here. Look, CH, right here. These are the last 2 increases we made, right? Now for these last 2. Stayed increases. Look, I'm going to draw a horizontal line here, right? I can even do it with same ruler with something straight you have, right? You'll roughly calculate it like this, right? Ceiling. Look, here's the corner, and here goes the corner. Look. So I'm just 2 stitches short. So at these 2 points, it should look like this, with 2 stitches left to knit. Look, I want you to look at it like this. You roughly calculate it, because here, fears I'm going to make a decrease. And on the other side, another decrease to form the corner. Okay, so what I'm going to do is the following. I'm going to make a decrease here. Six, and then another decrease right after, because remember, we made 2 increases in a row. 6, now it's 2 decreases in a row to close it up. Look, and right here, the corner is formed, which will coincide, look, with the same corner that's here. Look, third, I'm left with a vertical line. We have to square that up, right? So that it's right here. Now, 4, we're going to crochet. Once we've calculated that, we're going to make 11 single crochet stitches. 1, single crochet stitches, and I'm going to make 2 decreases in a row, 1 and 2. Decreases in a row. So I'm going to repeat this pattern of 11 single crochet stitches and 2 decreases. 2 more times, 11 single crochet stitches, 2 decreases. 11 single crochet stitches, 2 decreases. In the end, I'll have 3 stitches left over, and I'm going to crochet those normally. Okay? Feeling. Look, I've finished repeating it 2 more times, and like I said, at the end, look, I have 3 stitches left, and I'm going to work them in. 1, 2, and 3. Slipping bays. I'm going to close the round with a slip stitch. Seam chain stitch, and a single crochet in the same spot where I made the slip stitch. Now we'll add the stitch marker, and that's it. What I want you to see here is that you need to make sure all the corners line up. Look, the corner here with the corner that's forming. Second, because this is going to close. It's going to close like this, right? Flat. So, feature. You always have to make sure when you're making a square head that they end up like a little square. Set look. Because if you don't calculate these corners correctly, you'll have a corner here. Second, and it won't form a square, right? So we're going to keep closing. Now, the next thing. School we're going to do is here. So we're going to make 7 stitches. I've already done the first one. Okay, 2. 7, 7. Now I'm going to do the 2 decreases. These 1 and 2 decreases. And here I'm going to crochet 9 stitches. 1, 7 and 9, and I'm going to do 2 decreases right next to each other. 1 and 2. Now what I'm going to do? Stitches. Repeat this pattern of 9 single crochet stitches and 2 decreases here again 2 more times. Then 9 single crochet stitches, 2 decreases. 9 single crochet stitches, 2 decreases. And at the end, I CLL, have 2 stitches left over, and I'm going to crochet those normally. Okay, look, here I've finished that round. Let's close the round. We're going to do a slip stitch, stain stitch, and our first single crochet, like this way, seed, and we're going to close this round. CR, we're going to put in the marker. Now we're going to do 6 stitches. I already did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I'm going to do 2 decreases together. 1, 2nd, 2, and this pattern D here. Oh, no, sorry, COY, I'm not going to repeat that one yet. The one I'm going to repeat is the one here. Here I did 6 stitches and 2 decreases. Now I'm going to crochet 7 stitches here. 1, 7, and I'm going to make 1 decrease. 2nd here, another decrease. TD, and I'm going to repeat this pattern of 7 single crochet stitches and 2 decreases here. 7 single crochet stitches, 2 decreases, 7 single crochet stitches, 2 decreases. At the end, I'll have 1 stitch left over, and I'm going to crochet that one normally. Done. Look, I've finished. Stand this round, and here we're going to close the round with a slip stitch, chain stitch, and our first stitch. Stitch, right? We're going to put the stitch marker here, and we're going to make I already made one, right? We're going to make 5 stitches here. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Series, and I'm going to make 2 decreases in a row. 1. Second, 2 decreases in a row. Now, I'm going to repeat this pattern of 5 single crochet stitches and 2 decreases to the end of the round. That is, here, 5 single crochet stitches, 2 decreases. Stuff. I've finished this round, and here at this point, we're going to stuff it a little. Not all of it, just stuff it up to here. Don't leave any stuffing here yet because we're going to keep closing it. There, look, I've stuffed it like this. Here it is. It's not stuffed yet, not even at the corners, just up to here. CHL because I'm going to finish closing it, and then we'll use the little dart to keep it from opening too much. At least when it's square and you make these decreases at the corner, it usually stitches need to be left open. So let's be very careful with that. Now we just need to do 2 more rounds and we're finished. Here I've already finished the round. Stitch. I've already made my first stitch of the new round. Here I'm going to make 2. With this one I already made 1, no, 2. 3 stitches, and I'm going to make 2 decreases in a row. 1, stand 2, and I'm going to repeat this pattern of 3 single crochets and 2 decreases all around until the end of the round. Done. Look, I've finished this round. Now we're going to state the last round. We're going to do 1 single crochet and 2 decreases. And we're going to repeat that all around until the end of the round. Remember, 1 single crochet and 2 decreases. And that's it. Look, fins I've finished. Dip here, I just have 12 stitches left. Look, to be able to insert 6 in the neck here, right? Spell. Well, so now we're going to cut the yarn because we don't really need any yarn. we've finished making our little head slash I closed it. Normally here, slip stitch, I close the loop, right? And we're going to fill this little part here that needs filling in the corners, but we'll fill it there. As I tell you, slowly with the tweezers, we'll take a little bit of filling and we'll put it in like this. Look, so that it doesn't open up, so that the stitches don't open up. And that's why it's good to fill these last few rows when we're finished. Look, it's taking. CHA. And we go slowly like this, with a lot of patience. And that's it. Look, it would look like this now. Stitches aren't open. It would have this little head look square on all sides. Side you want to make, right? Now what we're going to insert here is the little body in this second little hole. So we're going to thread the needle. Look, and we're going to insert it here and bring it out here at set the beginning of the magic ring. Let me insert it here in the center of the little head and pull. And as we pull, COW, the head goes in here. Look, the head ends up like this, right? So here we do the same thing we did before. We're going to make a little knot. Once you've positioned the head, state always where you joined it. Remember, we made the change. This change, so that ends up towards the back, right? And so that it ends up like this in the front. So, kilo. As you can see, it's almost touching, right? Touching it here, you can't see much of the neck. Just a little bit, a row. So, the moment we have it positioned there, stuff and twirly right, we pull like this. We're going to underscore a little bit of yarn. We're going to make a little knot. We pull teenies, the knot is made. We go in through here and out through any other place. Look, we pull. We're going to cut here and that's it. As I said, if you want to fix the head in place, you can put hot or cold silicone inside and attach the little body. Then, you can tie whatever you want to do here, right? So, look, it looks like this. Square head would look like this, which would be Funko style, and the round one would look like this. Look. Square. Head is a little bigger because it's a square. It's more proportionate. But if you wanted to make the head bigger, what? COI you would do is, when we were making the increases, the largest increase round state we did before the height rounds was 7 single crochet stitches and 1 increase. So, if you want to make this head bigger, you can do 8 single crochet stitches and 1 increase. It will grow bigger. And you would add 1 more height round. Instead of doing 10, you do 11, and then you close 8, 7, and so on. And that's how it would look. So the basic body options. Let me raise the camera a little so you can see it better. Okay, CD, and so it looks a bit more complete. Look, here are the 2 body options you make. Look either one, right? So, here are the patterns. Centered. I hope you liked this pattern because it's a base that you can simply change the color of. Unlike the other pattern I showed you, the classic one, which is shaped like the 6 legs and all that pattern is like the video. I'll also leave it here in the description. If you want to make the classic one, that one is more for putting clothes on the doll. On the other hand, this pattern is simply designed so you can change the colors. That's why the little feet are shaped like shoes. So you can, for example, make any serialized doll, okay? So, you just choose the shoe color. For example, sipped up to this point, you might make it black, I suppose. And then you change the color to make dipped the pants. Let's say blue, and make the pants blue up to this point. Then you start knitting. Changing the color. Following the same pattern, just changing the colors and changing the color of skirt. The same goes for making the sleeves. You make the little arm like this, and here. Remember, we made 8 rows high for the arms. You can do only 6 rows. Then change the color and make the last 2 rows the color of the shirt so it looks like a sleeve. And then you close it off. closing it with the color of the shirt. And if you want, scenes it to look skin-colored. Make the collar skin-colored. So, look, that's salvand how you can do it. And they add the hair, they make the head shapes. So this, Edie, is a basic body that will be very useful for those custom orders or gifts you want to make. If the client asks for a chibi or Funko option, you already know which one you can make. Well, this is how it looks, right? Front and back. Because, well, I hope you liked this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Activate the notification bell. Share. Zickered this video. Leave us a like, a message, because that way you help us reach 6 and more people and we can grow our channel and continue uploading content for you for free. So I hope you continue watching the other videos we have on our channel. We already have more than 200 tutorials on our channel. And well, thank you all. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for watching this video. Don't forget to take your breaks. Do some sand exercises and stretches to prevent tendinitis from repetitive movements, and also apply hand cream. Video, well, I'll see you in the next video. Take good care of yourself, sending you a big hug. Bye-bye.